Good morning, everyone. Today we'll be seeing the impact of economic liberalization on political developments in emerging democracies. Economic liberalization involves reducing state control, promoting private enterprise, deregulation, privatization, and integrating economies into the global market. Political development refers to strengthening democratic institutions, improving governance, expanding civil liberties, and fostering political participation. In emerging democracies, both processes often unfold simultaneously. The classical liberal view says that liberalization supports political development through middle class growth and increased accountability, while critical theory like New Marxism warns about the liberalization worsening inequality and entrenching elite dominance. There are many theoretical perspectives over the same topic, like the modernization theory given by Seymour Martin Lipset, who says that economic growth fosters democracy through expanded education, urbanization, and a rising middle class. The more well to do a nation, the greater the chances it will sustain democracy. The dependency theory and world system theory by Gunder Frank and Immanuel Wallerstein, respectively, criticize liberalization as reinforcing dependence on core economies like the US and the UK's, while the peripheries while in the peripheries there is an increase in inequality and they may undermine political stability in the global south. Neoliberal institutionalism by Robert Cohen. He says that markets require strong political and legal institutions. Liberalization pressurizes states to modernize and build governance capacity. The impact of economic liberalization on governance and institutions. It can enhance efficiency, reduce state corruption, but it may foster crony capitalism, which is a nexus between political officials and elite capitalists, where it may undermine fair governance and promote elite favoritism. Economic liberalization also impacts rule of law, which strengthens legal system to protect property rights and contracts. However, there is selective enforcement due to elite influence, which weakens the rule of law and also influences human rights and civil liberties. It may protect rights via greater access to information and global norms, but risks remain if liberalization proceeds without genuine political reform. It also impacts social unrest. Economic reforms can trigger inequality, job loss, inflation. These disruptions may fuel protest, instability in early democratic phases. There are various global case studies regarding the same, where in India, after the 1991 reforms, liberalization transformed India into a high growth economy with rising middle class, tech expansion, foreign investment. Politically, it fueled regional parties, democratic pluralism, but deepened urban rural divide. In Brazil, 1990 reforms under Cardoso stabilized the economy but worsened inequality. There were major corruption scandals which exposed the risk of liberalization without institutional reform. In South Africa, post-apartheid liberalization by Gare strategy 1996 improved macroeconomics and built a black middle class. However, structural inequality and service delivery failures led to social unrest. In Indonesia, after 1997 crisis, reforms and democratization began. Despite progress, political oligarchs captured economic benefit and limited inclusive growth. In eastern countries like Poland, Hungary, and Czech Republic, shock therapy liberalization boosted initial growth and democracy. Economic hardship later fueled illiberal populism and democratic backsliding. There are many critical perspectives on the impact of on economic liberalization on political development, where Joseph Stick criticizes top-down liberalization that ignores market failures and institutional readiness. He warns of social dislocation and weakened political development without fundamental reform. Danny Roderick, he advocates for heterodox approaches where tailored liberalization based on local political and institutional contexts are applied. He opposes one size fits all neoliberal models. Amartya Sen emphasizes that true development must expand substantive freedoms, political, social, and economic. Without this, liberalization remains incomplete and unsustainable. Levitsky and Way argue that liberalization often produces hybrid regimes where democratic forms coexist with authoritarian control. They highlight the risk of superficial democratization without deep institutional change. In conclusion, I would like to say that the link between economic liberalization and political development in emerging democracies is complex and non-linear. Liberalization can support democratic growth by reinforming institutions, expanding civil society, and empowering new actors. However, without strong institutions and inclusive policies, it may worsen inequality, enable elite capture, and trigger instability. Case studies like India, Brazil, South Africa, Indonesia, and Eastern Europe show outcome depending upon sequencing, pace, and governance of reforms, the presence of social protection, and accountable institutions. Liberalization is not one size fits all solution. It is a double edged sword that requires context sensitive and inclusive strategies to succeed politically. Thank you.